What's the dumbest mistake you've seen an incompetent coworker make? My wife worked at a gas station and found out her coworker, who had been there for years, had been refilling the napkin dispenser by cramming them one at a time through the front slot. She walked up and unfastened the bag, and apparently his jaw hit the floor. He had never considered that there might be a better way to do this. Innocent story. In a sea of death and destruction, there's got to be a better way to do this, he thought. Suddenly, an angel appeared. Working in pharmacy, a pharmacist gave a customer a flow shot and threw the used syringe in the container with the new syringes, instead of the container to dispose them. Another pharmacist went to grab a new syringe later on and ended up getting stabbed with the used syringe. Caused a total shitstorm. So, this is why my grandpa doesn't trust doctors. Think of the stupidest idiot you've ever worked with in any job, and remember that there are doctors who can also think of idiots that stupid in their line of work. An F up like this can literally kill someone. Yep, the pharmacist that got stuck was fine luckily, but God knows what she could have contracted. Took the wrong coffin to a funeral. Someone else had to drive to the cemetery with the correct deceased on board, and thankfully, they made it before the viewing. You absolutely sure this isn't the guy? Absolutely. How are you so sure? Because Uncle Jeff isn't white. Maybe he's just pale from, you know. Putting all the patient's false teeth in a bowl together to soak on a dementia ward. Took us weeks to try and match patient to teeth. No, they weren't marked up with the patient's names. Doubt the right teeth ended up with the right patient. It was guesswork. I know I'm awful for laughing at this, but it reminds me of that time the Pope ordered all the dicks to be cut off the statues in Rome. Fast forward to a few centuries later, and a bunch of art historians were running around Rome with a box of dicks, trying to restore them. I worked as a radiation protection tech at a power plant that was refueling. My job was to sit outside of a contaminated area, and if anyone wanted to take something out of the area, tools, etc., I had to make sure it didn't have any radioactive particles on it. To do this, you wipe the tool with something like a tissue, and then hold the tissue up to a machine called a frisker. If the needle on the frisker goes above a threshold, then the tool has to be cleaned or left in the area. One day, I come back to relieve a guy who had been sitting outside the area for 2 hours. He tells me there's been no issues, and everything is cleared. I look at the frisker, lean over, and turn the machine on. So you're telling me Homer having his job in The Simpsons is plausible? Removing the plastic wrapping from a pallet of 5-gallon cans of highly flammable acetone. He didn't have a box cutter, so he proceeded to melt it with a lighter. This was in the middle of a commercial paint warehouse. If it caught fire, you would see it from space. New safety rule: no fricking lighters in the warehouse. You would have ended up in space. Jesus. There was a guy who drove a forklift through a wall in the warehouse. We work in IT. Edit. It really happened. It was a guy named Tom who was tasked with going to the storage area in the warehouse to get some laptops. When asked why he used the forklift, which he had never driven before, or was even authorized to touch, he said, "I thought it would help." Spoiler, it wouldn't have helped. He was fired immediately. Shut down a critical file server, then lied about it, even after he was presented with the logs that showed it was his user account that initiated the shutdown. It's not so much the mistake that he made, but it was when he lied about making the mistake. That was a rookie move. I worked as a database tech once, and my boss was super upfront in training. If you F up, come tell me immediately. No matter how bad it is, come tell me, and I can try to help you fix it. But if you try to cover it up, you will fail. It will cause more and more problems, until it breaks something important. All the data will be in the logs. I'll find out who effed up, and I will, let me repeat this, I will throw you under the bus. So save yourself the trouble, and just tell me when you F up. Sounds like a good fair boss. My coworker at the bowling alley had to walk down a lane where a group of very young children, maybe 4 to 8 years old, were bowling to retrieve a ball that had stopped in the gutter about halfway down to the pins. When he had picked up the ball, my other coworker told him to go walk it back down to the children. However, this guy had it in his mind that it would be best to bowl it back down at the group of small children instead. Luckily, one of the adults with the children was a big muscular guy who was able to stop the ball and pick it up without anybody getting hurt. This is the funniest response I've seen. Just bowling at small children. You say small children, I say larger pins. Emptying hot fryer oil into a plastic container. Guess how that went? Well, this blew up. And yeah, it melted, went everywhere. What a pain to clean that was. Kid got fired. See also, throwing an ice cube into the deep fryer. To see what would happen, I watched my girlfriend throw ice into the trash can, and I just laughed at her. She seemed confused. Edit. Just got home from the movies and saw the reactions. I showed her, and she laughed. Thanks for the award. Poured sink cleaning solution into the ice cream machine instead of the cream mixture, and I had to stop them. They then said, "I'm sure it'll be fine. It was only a little." No, that would poison people. I had to clean out the whole machine, top to bottom, and refill it. I ended up throwing away nearly a whole bucket full of contaminated ice cream mixture. I would also like to add that the containers didn't look anything alike. The sink stuff came in big plastic jugs with screw tops, and the ice cream comes in cardboard cartons, like orange juice, that you have to cut open. So I don't know how she could have possibly mixed the two up. Maybe she didn't. Was making pizza. Guy broke the pizza board, the thing with the handle you make the pizza on, and then slide the pizza into the oven. I found the other one, and he lost that. So I told him to make pizzas on one of the plastic cutting boards. He put the pizza into the oven on the board, and just left it. The board melted. No more pizza that day. How do you lose a pizza board? Those things aren't small. With hard work and dedication, you can do anything. The designer, creative director, and head of production all missed that there was an 8-day week on a calendar. We sent 10,000 copies of a useless calendar to a client. Rightly so, they refused to pay for it. What day did you all add? Twom's Day? Friday Day? Snunday? At a Petco, all the guinea pigs were in a big plexiglass enclosure with a center divider. Boys on one side and girls on the other. An employee decided that all the long-haired guinea pigs should be on one side and short-haired on the other. It took forever to sort them out, and all the females were pregnant. This is why PetSmart runs at stores as boy or girl only. For the whole store, F-ups still happen, but not like this.